Okay, I'm gonna spare you how bad it can get. Because a lot of people know how bad it got. They're dead. They can't tell you how bad it gets. You take a pee. I'm not busy. When you take a pee, and you think you're done, and you put it in your pants, and it drips all down your leg because the faucet doesn't shut off on you. And I'm having that again. That's when you're getting down. That's when you're running down again. And, then you're picking scabs off of yourself. Do you know why? Chances are someone in your home, in this case, smokes. And you say, how does that affect you? And I really need to be able to go into detail on this, but at minimum, if you recall a couple things you've seen on TV, and one is so important because it showed some kids partying in the garage with the garage closed. Okay? And the car's still running, right? And I guess I pass out, fall asleep, and they die of carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide, not carbon dioxide, right? Unless the entire nation thinks we breathe carbon monoxide. God, it's possible we breathe carbon dioxide. I mean, why do I say that? As even a possibility. Because we supposedly we're carbon beings. We need carbon, oxygen, not just oxygen. That doesn't make any difference, in fact. One thing I've wondered, and maybe this is just wondering, why should any other creature not consume the same? Alright, never mind. I had a terrarium. It was supposed to be a closed terrarium that showed that animals and plants can live in a closed system. I put it in the window, and because my parents told me you need to read about the war because you stick things in your window, and people knew that you're stupid. And they'll come get you. Boogeyman will start visiting you. That's what I think was happening. Anyway, because my parents feared. My grandma took that terrarium down, and then they told me I had done it. Till I finally beat the truth out of them. And then I got beaten that night because I yelled at my grandma. I don't know what it is. Soothing. About this time in the morning, find some interest outside the window, and then later she's howling at my gal's door, so she sleeps this time of day. And you go figure. But the cats are sensitive to things, obviously, and people probably nearby. I just don't know how far it goes yet. Alright, off topic. I've got so many things I want to tell you. And I'm really already way off topic to get it all done. So we're talking about walk the stack back, carbon monoxide. Why were we talking about that? We're talking about smoke in here. And you read on the package, it's that just says, produces carbon monoxide. So when, you got our windows closed, you lock them because you didn't want people walking in on their way through the window. God knows if it's ever happened You say to yourself, no. What if is more than what ifs. And particularly, you go to work, you go out, you do errands, and well, I guess mom sleeps all day. I don't know, but I know she can do things in her sleep. Do you just remember? Who's controlling that? What if somebody knew how to do that? Comes over, rapes your wife. She wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it. Only they would know it. And then she wakes up with a headache and now she can't handle it with you. Okay. Just as now. I don't know. I'm not here to tell you what I know. I'm here to ask questions, make you think, just as I do. Okay? So, she has her last say, right? Her door's already closed, windows locked. You open the door to see if she's okay. It's smoldering with carbon monoxide. And, she's wondering why she's got headaches all the time. How long has she been doing it? Smoking, go to sleep, window door closed. And doesn't even see the fact if she had how many days of fresh air. Her problem might be almost completely gone. Including lung cancer, including everything been diagnosed with as far as I'm concerned. It's all fake. Anyway, the most real thing she has is what you can see. She got a lump on her back. Okay, and then the doctor won't say that's anything to worry about. And she doesn't have to stop smoking. And do you know, he's a total fucking lawyer. If you didn't know a doctor, never had a medical lesson, blah, 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 a total ignorant, and you walked in and you see someone with that looks like Quasimodo, like you did when you watched it on TV. When you say, the problem that man has is the lump on his back. Duh. But you're clad with all this other bullshit. When the problem he has is a lump on his back. And if anything kills a person, you just forget what. Now, and of course, he's born with that lump, right? She wasn't born with this lump. Don't you even think maybe the whole damn movie was to cloud this in your mind? Do you know how many times I think I'm in a maze because I got so many obstacles to overcome? And then you gotta pull that out back and throw that in the garbage. This is not even a maze. The fact is, somebody left a trail of fucking obstacles that you never catch up with them. Or that you'd be so suppressed, and then you're brainwashed that life is full of challenges. Whoever it is that set this up ain't got no fucking challenges. If anything, they're living forever having sex all day long. And people do that. You've seen it on the internet. And you're sitting here faced with all these challenges. Because they want you to have the challenges, so they don't have to have them. Okay, might say, well, you gotta earn your wings, right? You gotta go through this to get where you have to get. Well, I guess you got no fucking choice there. Yeah, it's gonna take you most of your life to figure out how to live longer. It's gonna take your life to find out how to live. And they're using your life against you. They're using your mind against you. They're using whatever you bought, you bring home against you. They're using hope against you. You name it, some part of anything, including this computer and the program, is partly being used against you. But this is what you have to get the job done. You're a country and an army that's using enemy weapons to try and be victorious. Do you have any clue how hard this is? And do you also have any clue that if you were a robot army trying to fight, this is hypothetical, or vice, you can look at it either direction. But the point is, if one side can put you to sleep at any given time, for any length of time, while they take 10 moves on the chessboard, 100 moves on the chessboard, and then wake you up because they're kind and want to have some fun, and then see what you do with your one move, it starts to look very helpless. Okay? You'd be lucky to please them so much that they let you into their club. But as far as ever getting anywhere else with what you're trying to do, you start to think it is hopeless, except that you save money and everything and stuff you do, probably. And just try and enjoy the ride. But, you know. But it's serious, it's not a maze. This is your life. How many chances do you think you got? Part of the brainwashing is you have all these chances. And you got dreams that you've done it a million times over. When in fact, you may never, this is it. It's like, this is it. Yeah. Make no mistakes where you are. So, you know, she's bathed in carbon monoxide. I tell you, you might as well have taken the chorus exhaust pipe, hooked up your garden hose to it if it fit, and pipe it through the window and seal it. If I come in to see what you're doing, I leave the door cracked for as long as I can so cats don't get it, just to dissipate some of it, because I know it's going to help her. But there's a dual problem with that stuff, and I think it creates in the air all the kind of substance needed, and either through its own intelligence or because of what's in the air. Or something that you keep in your home all the time. Could be sugar, could be cleaning products, it could be melding with things. Whatever it is, or the sunlight too, I know has something to do with it. And it may not even be the sunlight, because now you've got daylight time running lights going everywhere. You've got a lot of artificial light everywhere. You've got people that refuse to turn off their porch lights at night because of, quote, security. And sometimes security is not secure. How do you know all of that is just contributing to our demise, including the street lamps? So the interesting thing is, that's all going on. You go to sleep at night. This stuff is like growing like trees because it's in the air. And that's not even only in your home, you know. You got people. How many people smoke in this world? Everywhere they smoke. And it don't matter, probably, that they put indoors. You know, this is to blind you to, it's non-smoking. You know, got the non-smoker. Protect the non-smoker. Yeah, once that door opens into the restaurant, because it's everywhere at this point, it don't matter. In fact, they make the cleaning products worse than the stuff, the high strength stuff they do, and it's as bad as what they. My first love was volunteer hospital brought this stuff, a little pump spray, R19. I don't know what the fuck. Same name as practically the same name as the stuff you put in your attic. You know, insulation fiberglass. And my dad's brainwashed that actually keeps the house cooler when the air conditioning's on. Dad, did you ever think it's augmenting the heat from the sun on the house? And yeah, maybe I think it's stupid. We are in a home now that I don't think could have any insulation, thank God, because it's just a rough aluminum, I believe. So we're lucky here because, and you know, there was one time no house had this stuff in it. Somebody comes along and says, this is going to save you big bucks, you know, what, nickel, dime. It comes out to probably nothing compared to the cost really to put it in. And then, you know, you're wondering why it's so hot in the house and it's like stuffy and stuff. And did you ever think, as I think right now, I know I got tired of using umbrellas. I don't use umbrellas. Why? There's something about being connected to the sky. I mean, just, you know, you don't need this overhanging feeling. And that's what it creates, too. You know, the feeling of loneliness is something key. It is key to marketing things that aren't going to give you loneliness. Selling hope that doesn't exist. Going to buildings that are acoustically and more homey than your own home, like a church, which shouldn't be that way. However, a church might be inviting to walk into. If your home is not anywhere close, just peaceful as that church, you're wasting your time there. You need to be home to get your home, to leave that peaceful first. You're not going to live at the church. The only way you ever live at a church is if you're a fucking bum and you're at their door. And that's where you'll be. It won't be long. Don't tell me I don't know. We'd sit there and give away packets and groceries and this and that to people who are homeless coming to the church. And you talk to some, they were rich. What the fuck are they doing for now? One guy, his wife's talking to us because he's so fucking delirious he can't talk for himself anymore. Just saying, my husband, he was in the stock market. He had lots of money, but he never got out, and then he lost it all. If it ain't a wake-up call every time something tells you somebody like this, it should be, what do you think I'm doing right now talking to you now? The words flow off my tongue without because I'm not lying. I don't have to think about what I'm going to make up next. Truth sticks in the heart, believe me, because the heart already knew it. Problem was, I couldn't even get to you to tell you because they're so fucking confused here. Land of confusion. Quote Phil Collins, right? And any name of any artist or song, it's like a horse with no name. Don't even worry about it. Don't need to really memorize it because you don't even know if that's their real name or how many times they changed their name. Get that through your head too. So where was I? Because I'm leaning over, even good posture. I can't even relax. You don't even pay attention to your own self. I finally washed my feet this morning. I should do that religiously every morning. It feels so good. You don't have to fucking drown your water because this shit that grows like hair all over you is, it's sapping you. It is. I mean, just take my word on it is. Now, there is some drugs, and some people take it, and I don't know if I think it's just another way of not realizing you got a problem. Any antidote, practically, I would say, anything that's commercially created is for you to forget there's a problem. That and a lot of words you see are there also. That you see them so much, you're dead and you don't think about the concept anymore. The very first microwave oven we had was a Samsung. And if that wasn't to help me forget my Uncle Sam who died because of a doctor's knife, thought of a doctor's knife on his leg for a toe problem, that was certainly it. You see Sam, and to the point where they would say, well, that's it, the hurt goes away if you forget. You don't want to forget, you know why? Because then you're forgetting that there's still an enemy out there. There's still somebody out there that killed your grandfather. It's all a form of domestication, or it's a form to help you fall asleep, like Asia talks about. How many millions will they put to sleep? It's the line that, and your parents, mine, I believe only, try to make you think how creative people are. That was so you had a childhood of innocence. But you want to live, you're going to have to remember, parents, smart or dumb, it don't matter now, it's from do you be smart, at least internally. And then you walk out that door, my Grandpa Sam could have been a whistleblower. In fact, he had so much memoirs of his time in the war. He was a Russian medic. Saved his general by giving him a diarrhea pill. The guy shit his brains out and thanked him. His memoirs, if I didn't ever record this information before, one day there was a movie, it was like a double movie in one, with an intermission. It was 6 hours, called Reds, about, I guess, the Russian Civil War. So that was what he was in. And what happened to his memoirs? He was told that the hotel he was staying in was safe, or he felt that way. He thought he had friends probably watching his room for him. He would go out, go shopping, whatever. Not even out long, probably. Or he had to work. Would you believe he worked, washing windows or painting on high buildings? I don't know, unreal. I think he almost fell once, he said. Or he did fall, he got up off the concrete. He said, somebody up there must love me. I remember that. My mother told me that story. He fell from a scaffold. He was either painting on the side of a high building or washing the windows. Fell to the ground several stories. Heard his head, got up and said, somebody up there must love me. I'm going to cry. All his memoirs, and he was studying Chinese, of all things. He thought it was fascinating. The letters, the picture letters, and I think they do have special meaning, and it may not even have to do with the fact that it comes from China. They may not. In any case, all of his works, all of his lives, notes, gone. Except maybe something. My mom has some thing where he wrote down Chinese letters on paper. That's all she's got. And we had to see the movie Reds. My mom did. And I don't know how much they said, but I bet. It's more than I bet. That movie was written, if not entirely, because for the other people surely that would have came from there, but he had it written down. And he lost his notes. So what the fuck do you think? Who's making millions of dollars off of a movie called Reds? Somebody is. Somebody thought about it ahead of time. And do you think I'm careful about all the music I wrote and everything? Damn right. Damn right. I was careful. I never lost anything I've ever done since the day I started when we had DOS. We're talking 1985 or earlier. And I'm holding a smart speaker. You can't even hear me. I hope it's not my fault. I'm stupid. I'm holding it like I'm nervous. Okay. So, God knows about to record again. So, and then that's one thing I was going to mention. I'm staring at this app here. If this had been any kind of normal application, there would be a bar all the time telling me that I got volume going here, wouldn't there? And I wonder why. There was a thing that was telling me how much time was gone by, and that disappeared. I don't know how to get it back. Either I turned off, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's one. The only thing I ever lost was I admitted some church music from notation. And that's gone. But all that stuff I can't use unless I had an ISA-based bus computer and the old PC feature cord and the old Personal Composer software by Jim Miller, which I don't have now. Went crazy, got rid of it. I probably wouldn't be alive today though if I kept it. Something told me I had to get rid of it. That's a long story. Another time. So where was I going with this? Samsung. You got our cell phone, says Samsung. And well, it's maybe threatening and not true. Well, Sam sings his tune. One would have told the world what he knew. But, the doctors got a hold of him, killed him. Then they'd say, well, it's normal people only live to 80-something. I don't think it's true. At all. No. Take away everything people said. In fact, one thing I was going to say is just about so many things that we use as devices, we are told or we are given a warped sense of common sense that you use them this way. And then you step out in faith, and then, or you have a thought about, I should point this. I got a heater. It was pointed at me, right? Oh, you point the heater at yourself because you want the heat to come to you. The fan's blowing. And then all of a sudden, we got cats here. And all of a sudden, why is all the cat shit smell coming to where I am? And, it was blowing probably at me it was getting the heater and blowing at me. And then you turn the heater. It's gone. Where would I even get this idea? Going to church with the encrypted crap that they gotta tell me? What is that? Cast your nets on the opposite side of the boat. Okay? This is part of the it is a warped education, but it's the beginning of actually learning how to live, because these are the people that have put this up. And you get only a sprinkling of chance to understand it through more convoluted talk. But in fact, it's something you apply and it gets you outside the box. So you turn the heater the opposite way. Now it's blowing it. Now you don't get cat shit smell here. But actually it's warmer. So, again, here's just an example, You think, well, this is how you use zero. And you point it at you, and then you do it. Who would ever think, pulling the heater the opposite way? And it is so much warmer in there, though. I guess because you're stopping the cold air from even getting to you. It might be more not that you're heating cold air, you're just keeping it away. You see, and then, then your logic changes as to what is real too. And then where at first you change something, you don't even know why, but if you do it and it works, sometime down the road, as you keep asking yourself, why does it work? Is it a miracle? No. It's logical, but you got to get your logic straight because you didn't know it was screwed up. Something that happens in the morning too is, and see, I figured this out finally. You've got incentive to run out of the house in the morning. And if you're a working person, that's what they want. So, even if your home was peaceful all night long, something's got to wake you up. If it isn't your own stupid self who bought a clock radio and set yourself up to, basically, blast your mind, you might as well just, strap a bomb to your head, have it go off in the morning, and you wonder, and then run on to work with your head cut off. This is about what it's like. And all that all night long, you don't realize what that radio is programming you for. And it's destruction. Instruments of Destruction, a Transformers movie, where the title track, Instruments of Destruction, was written by a band called Wild Child, who the manager of the band was the father, whose older daughter, went to engineering school with me. He was also a realtor. He's dead now. Smoked like a chimney. Smart thing, he didn't have an air conditioner before. I talked about this before. And this girl I knew shook the hands of Michael Jackson. She comes up to me. She met him and he was sitting as an audience to some awards. She made sure she found her way to sit next to him in an open chair for a few minutes. Shook his hand. I meet her and a day later, so she said, shake my hand. This hand shook Michael Jackson's hand. And then people try to tell you, why are you worshiping celebrities who have done such sins, and instead of worshiping Jesus? Number one, a living celebrity could actually help us with their hands, feet, mind, and voice, etc. Jesus could have helped us even today. Think about how much closer we'd be to paradise if Jesus was still here and had a family. And how many family members would he have directly under him had he not been, I'm going to say it, murdered? And why don't you just take Michael Jackson's name and rename it Jesus, or anybody else's who ain't here today who was brilliant? Including my grandpa Sam. So what do you face with in the morning? You got to warn your own house because you don't know it. Do you know And then, of course, somehow it's affecting the people in your family too. And usually they're ticked off about something they shouldn't even be concerned about, because there's a design there to aggravate, for them to get aggravated, so that you can't get the rest you need to think about what is real, to reverse your ideas about devices that you thought you were supposed to use a certain way. Okay, I'm right to the example, the refrigerator. It started annoying me, a sound, a pain. And then I never heard this before, but the idea was, the more things you have in the refrigerator, the more efficient it is. Think again. Not to mention, you got dead shit in the refrigerator, that's vibrating death all through the house when it's on, don't you think? No, it doesn't make sense to you? Even if religious, doesn't that make sense to you? Spiritual, I don't get, does it make sense to you? It should. And then she doesn't know, how does the thermostat work? It's not about how much colder it can make it. No. If you know anything, it's about the duty cycle. What the fuck's a duty? It's about how percent is on versus off. That's all. In a given hour or whatever span of time that it cycles to determine how long it's on. Well, I've been observing this refrigerator now because I have time to, and alertness, and why it's paining me. Ping, it's almost the same thing. It's ping, it's like constantly annoying you. And in the morning, it's running constantly. Doesn't stop. Another thing about, you turn that knob from 9 down, right? If it's keen on anything temperature-wise, then once you reach, say, 4 or 5 or something, and sometimes it would shut off because you at least met that level of requirement of a temperature, that threshold. And, it's cold here. This is winter, so even then, a refrigerator shouldn't be running that much, right? Well, the times when it's really annoying, I'm turning that up slowly back to 1, or it never decides to shut off until it turns off. And you say, how can this be? I feel like I've talked about this before. Of course, this is the thing about the dreams, that it's dangerous. And with today's technology, and even it's like suspiciously looking old refrigerator is an old model. That don't put anything past me. Besides that, couldn't someone rewire come in here anytime? Yeah, they could. Regardless of how. I had a paper plate on the top of it one day. Just with junk food. And it was running differently. Or it just wouldn't, it didn't have any thermostatic activity on or off. I took the plate off of it. And then it just seemed like it woke up. Started acting normally. I said, well, the only thing I'd be blocking is like a cloud blocking a satellite dish. And then it's like, whoa, what a concept. And you think it's a new concept, you're ready to patent it. Wi-Fi driven control of your refrigerators on off. And then this brings me to the fact that working at a blood robot company, and of all the things we could remote into people's robots to diagnose and fix problems and upgrade software. We couldn't turn it on remotely. Someone would have to be there during business hours, in many cases, to wait till they got there, call them up on a regular phone, and say, hey, could you turn your instrument on so we can upgrade it? It was a hard switch. And that clouds your thinking about any of this being possible, but obviously it's more than possible. And what's funny is, I broke the power button on my phone, and no one wants to claim there's a way to turn on my phone without the power button. When I Google about it, it's basically hopeless, right? I do recall, I don't think it was butt bumping or whatever to my phone. That sucker's turned on by itself on many occasions. So I want to do it now. And you're telling me in this day and age, modern technology, and not like it's an expense. And I installed the device software for the phone. I think even some models I've had earlier than this, BlackBerry, you could turn on your BlackBerry through the software. I know if it's off and then you plug it in, why can't you? Wouldn't have this been, up and down about how we need to be safe? Don't burn your house down doing X, Y, Z. Watch chemicals, do this. You name it, seat belt, whatnot. And you can't rely on having a phone that you can turn on more than one way. And in fact, I realized a long time ago, just having one phone in the house, landline, ain't gonna cut it. In this day and age, you can't rely on one form of getting hold of somebody. One car. We have two. And you drive only one, but you want that second car in the driveway. Used, I don't care. You want it. You want something to take you somewhere. Dad says traveling too. It's everything. Gotta be at least two. Should have two refrigerators, in fact. But this is the thing. I say, I'm not in control of my refrigerator. My refrigerator's not even in control of my refrigerator. I don't have to look at why or how right now. Fact is, all you need is something you can't pay attention to be off on a friggin', berserk, okay? Something in your house goes berserk in the morning. It's sapping, it's draining you, because what, how does it's distracting your mind. Your mind's picking up, it's always picking up. They discuss this even, sure. Your mind's like a computer, but then that's the point of evolution too. You're so much beyond a computer. I had to get through that too, because I worked in computers all my life. It's way beyond that, what you are. And who knows it, takes advantage of it. So, and if it's not your refrigerator going berserk in the morning, it's off now. And so it'd be funny that it's more than going to that, now it's not happening. I got past it. But you turn that sucker off and then you're not paying attention. She come out, go to the refrigerator. It could be off because it's out of cycle, but for some reason, she notices. Why'd you turn the refrigerator off? And now you got hell on top of hell. You're trying to put out the fire of what's bugging you, and then those around you are creating another fire. And they love you, they don't know it. And you can't explain it to them. Time, you look like a nut. Why? Because you figured out something that helps you. You turn it off once in a while when it does this. Give yourself a break. You gotta remember to turn it back on, or else your food's spoiled, yeah. Sometimes you forget, and then you're in trouble now, too. And it isn't until right now, weeks later, I have an explanation, and then that's not believable. Not even to yourself. So how are you gonna explain it to somebody else? And where's the proof? You ain't gonna find it right now. Wait, I'm gonna take that fucking refrigerator apart. I'm gonna even know what the part looks like. I'm gonna find what it is on the internet. No. What if I did? Would it still matter? What's my point? How many things can be like this? Any electronic you imagine? This computer, I turned it on several times. I always leave a task manager with details on. Always. I have no reason to change the setting. And this goes back years. Years I've even noticed this. One day you turn it on. And I tell people even turn it off. It's the safest. I have to modify that to say it's safer but not safest. Because by now, they've fucked around with the power. So, I don't even know. Now they have wireless power, right? God knows how long that's been around. So, think about it. Even if your computer is not even plugged in, somebody probably can send a charge. This might be beyond what it is. I don't know. Send a charge to your computer. Power it up. And see what the fuck you've been doing. While you're out, your wife is sleeping. Is that your setup? Okay. So, and then what's worse is, you wouldn't even think it's possible. You go blame your wife, your kid, whoever. Why'd you get in my computer? Hell, might be wrong about what she thought about her husband. She thought that he was snooping in her computer. And I know other people thought their husband snooping in their phone. Maybe they were, and maybe they're too, or worried about something. But this paranoia, which, stems from this kind of infiltration in your own. No doubt about it. You can't assume it was anybody in your home that did anything out of the ordinary. You really can't. Like I said, I turn on the computer and the task manager's back to its defaults. They would say, well, that's what it does every time. No, it doesn't. I ain't stupid. I've been doing this on my life computers. No, I pay careful attention. No, most of the time you start it up, it's the same way. And then why isn't it consistent? The computer is supposed to be consistent. Right? So what does it suggest? It says somebody's been, sleeping at my bed. Somebody's been messing with my computer. And they're still messing with it. The old fable, right? And when you look at the doctor, it should be, doctor, what big teeth you have. Doctor, what big eyes you have. It's not grandma you gotta worry about. Okay? I've left a breadcrumb trail my grandpa left a breadcrumb trail, and the crows didn't eat it. The breadcrumbs, they took the breadcrumbs, put them back together, made a loaf of bread and sold it for seeds. Good ones. Okay? So, I don't care if you have to go to work or anything in the morning. And you take a few minutes and see how peaceful things are in the morning. And, they say resist the devil. You don't resist. You don't resist. You're going to do that forever. No, you can't. You're going to die. You're going to drain yourself. You can't sit there and, and hold, what? Your finger in the dike forever. What you gotta do is stop the potential water coming out. Oh, this is a new concept, and it's so real. Potential energy pollution. That's what I call it. And it comes from potential energy creating stresses in your head. And of course, relative to that is these other things. You've got runaway loss of energy, runaway energy waste, leaving the TV on, for example, and it's just going and going and going. Of course, it's even more deadly than that. Okay, and we've got one here. We've got a wall. Of course, you got your router. The router. Why did they make it? Also run your telephone. They didn't have to do that. It could have even been a separate box now. Why? No reason? What's the real reason? Oh, Dale, please tell me the paranoid reason. I want to know. Yeah, it is a real reason. You won't turn the router off. You fear. We went through this. I fought day and night 2 years with a woman. I have to do it her way. By the time I couldn't tolerate you, that router is on 24/7. Because God forbid, somebody has to call you, and you're going to use a landline, and because of the phone line, you keep the router on. Over time, your router can get slower, blah, 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 this and that. And then, doesn't that give plenty of people time to latch onto your router? Maybe even send signals into their home that are not peaceful so you get to work. How far does it go? Another thing that sounds stupid, having anything plugged into a socket, including an empty transformer, your cell phone transformer, whatnot. And it's just a trickle charge, Couldn't the electric company potentially, leak a whole lot of energy? And, can you really beam count your electricity? At this point now. To be losing a whole lot more electricity than you think you are. Don't you know? Well, obviously, if you short the friggin' outlet, right, it's going to blow a circuit breaker. Why? Because you're blowing current miles an hour, right? What's to say, whatever device you have plugged in that you're not supervising, isn't shorting, but current's now flowing through it at a higher rate than it's supposed to. Say, how can that happen? I'm not telling you how it can happen. I'm telling you, couldn't happen. They said, look, I'm an electrical fucking engineer. I said, well, you must have got bad grades or you didn't get it. No, I didn't get it. If I'd have taken what they taught me in school, the way they taught me it, the way they tried to say we should manufacture things, no, none of this would be possible, because we all be working as a team. And then you realize we're not. At this time. And I said, well, why do you even think the roads are dangerous? Because one day you stare at the lights on your router, which all say LEDs. I'm telling you, LEDs. Your monitor on your computer, your monitor on your cell phone are staring at you. Somebody can see you when you look at them. You can block your camera. You can put your tape on it. You can disable anything in your software. Just the fact that you're staring at an LED screen. Even probably when we had tube monitors, it was done. They were bi-directional. Somebody is watching you, and if you're not there, and even if it's off, batteries not included, folks, they know what's going on in your house when you're not there. So what does that mean? They can come over when they want. So they will lock the doors. Your keys to your house are child's play. By the time you've got keys to your home, everybody in the fucking world could have a key to your house. I've always thought myself hypocritical that I ever lock a door. But how everybody's got. We got one here, what, 50-inch something? TV monitor screen. Who's monitoring who? And how do I know any more about this? You're staring. Say you just wanted to be curious to see about all these video chat things, right? Sometimes you're watching and it looks like who's on the other side. You see a glare from a screen and there's no keyboard. They're watching TV. And you're looking at them from the TV set. And if it ain't from the screen, it's an LED on the screen, on the power button that they can see from. I even think from the brand name, if it's shiny metallic things, they can see. Or it's a mirror of it from somewhere. Does this sound crazy? Yeah. So where was I going with this? And I'm going to turn the freezer on because I don't want this stuff to blow. I'll get in trouble. But I had to stop for a while and you think about it. And, you'll turn on. And then this is about how, you get a feel for what the cycle of your refrigerator should be. And it's this runaway, runaway electricity you got. and the potential energy, pollution, whatever you want to call it, runaway potential energy, is you might have very heavy things hanging off your wall. She's got a map of the world that was made with the thickest wood and glass you can imagine. And you're going to put that on. I had a mirror at home. I still on the wall. And what you don't realize is the potential energy you feel it if you're paying attention. How many things, and I was getting accused of being nuts. You take down from the wall or what have you, and you feel better. Because it's not, well, there's no potential it could fall either. And you said it's psychological. It doesn't matter. I think it's all same as physics. You're in a physical world. You have sensors. And the sensors are detecting a problem. And they will not shut off unless you take a pill, which is not the solution. You wonder why you're under stress. You have no freaking clue. It's all around you. I'm trying to tell you right now what you're looking for that you need to change. And I almost forgot there was something else about. Oh yeah, we have I got accused of the windows we have, and they were spring-driven windows. When you pull them up, they stayed up because of a very heavy spring running all through the sides of them. They were old too, and they weren't working well. But that was driving me crazy because it kept attention in the room, even when I was recording, and in the bedroom. They were mostly in the bedroom. I noticed them, and then I said, I'm ripping them out. And you rip them out, and the window, of course, doesn't stay open. But how much I got bitched out over it was beyond belief. And in this case, it's not I'm renting. I own the place. I paid the $60,000 with my severance pay from GE to live to own that 3-bedroom condo. She's my wife. We go to church. They tell you you're head of the household. But I'm crazy and I need to be put in a mental hospital for this. Because I can't explain it well enough that I'm right. Since then, because of, and of course, well, we can't sell, well, we don't sell it for. Why is it so important? I prop up the windows and stuff, and this was too much trouble. You know what? Because you become such a zombie and so reliant on everything being just perfect. But even in truth, it's a castle in the sand. You got everything just right, but one blow of a wind, one wave, and then it's Panic City. No one can handle it, particularly your wife. I don't blame her. You're not used to being in manual mode, not even close. You're so used to putting your car in drive, you wouldn't dare even put it in neutral. But you need to save your life, because one day you won't need that ounce of gas. And the extra thought that you could have in your head of inspiration that you gotta go buy something before you get home, you don't have it because you sat at the light and you could have put it in neutral and rest your engine, rest your mind. You go down to about 1,000 RPMs instead of 2. That's half of the stress right there. Not in your car, that's to you. Maybe half the oxygen in your immediate vicinity now can go in your brain to think more. And other things. That's half the noise everybody has to deal with. Half the carbon monoxide coming out of your exhaust. And if you put it in park and turned it off, you'd be doing even a lot of it. I think your starter, if it's a fairly new car, is reliable. And if you got a car you can't trust your starter, you got a problem. You need a new starter. One thing I've learned, because I've had several starters go out on my own cars, because I tried doing that, whatever. I wore them out, whatever it is. When you got a starter, that's it. You're dead in the water. You got gas, you can get gas. Starter car's got to go to the shop. You can't fix it right there in the street. I think one thing they really did improve was starters. So, find your starter, turn off your car. If you know you're sitting at a death light that's 5 minutes on, that's when I turn off my engine. Park, turn off. Wait. But you can't fall asleep. And then if you are falling asleep and a guy honks behind you, and then you start your car, that only proves you're way overstressed still. But that doesn't mean you stop. That's no excuse. Shouldn't do it. Because you got to catch up. You need a rested mind. When you go out of the house, you should be so alert that you turn off that engine. You're watching it like you look to the side. That was a trick I learned from my best friend, who was the son of my piano teacher. He said, look at the edge, you can see the lights turning yellow and red and before it turns green for you. Stupid common sense, but you know it ain't in your head at that time. It ain't going to teach you that at the driver's license. Well, no, of course not. Is it cheating? It's not cheating. But if it helps you, and we're brainwashed, don't look at the person's paper on your left or right. Yeah, that's, but I'll tell you one thing, in real life, if you don't know what your neighbor is doing, if you don't know the knowledge your neighbor has on your left or your right, you're only hurting yourself and your neighbor, because he's something he needs to know too. I said, a lot of what we learn doing the opposite at some point in your life is what's going to help you. Surely, you buy a car and they tell you, don't put it in neutral, don't take it out of overdrive, that's where you're saving gas. I walked into a department store one day. Very good advice. They said, do the don'ts. To some point, that's true. But one of them is, they say, don't drive fast. No, pretty much that's true. Most of the time, that's how. Sometimes you do the don'ts. Excuse me. See, and I don't even know how long this recording's been going because of the time thing. And then we'll sit here and spend all day trying to figure out. No, sometimes you can't hold your breath on things I'm going to say. It's like, don't sweat the small stuff and move on. But sometimes it nickels and dimes you. It's time to find out what it is. Keep it in your head. Say, I know this thing's annoying me. I want to fix it sometime. Pick and choose your time to correct the problem. Don't have to do it when somebody's yelling and screaming at you. You don't have to do it the first time you see it. You don't have to complain to the first person you see when you find there's a problem. And it'd be better if you do when you already know the solution. If you can help it. And if you need help to find a solution, don't wait till it's too late. I hope none of that sounded contradictory. So I don't know, I'm trying to think. There was a lot of things I want to the I-26 that I take, sounds like I'm doing a commercial here, right? No, this is serious. Which is at I-26 4out.com, but you can find a link on my website. I have found you really want to conserve. It's $29.99 or more, actually. And see, if I was trying to sell it to you, I'd be saying take huge shakes every day and you'd be out of it in 3 days. But actually, when I first started taking it, it felt good. That's probably what I needed. But at some point, now, I'm not looking for you. If I just sniff it almost like cocaine, it's just eggs. Take it in, hold it. You hear that snapping? That's my brain going back in place. It's opening probably, God knows, blocked. It's either opening blocked arteries or it's reconnecting nerves. I don't know. But it's like Lego parts, maybe. Listen, I'm one second, listen. I know there's a kink in my neck. Feels like it's fixing my brain. Okay? It'd be funny if I have to check later and see if it got recorded. But just sniffing it. Take it and hold your breath. Move your neck, tense your neck up or something. And hit like a deer bucking. Do that. If you're in a bucking war with another deer, okay? And I do that a few times. If I want, I could put some on my tongue, but if I internally, sometimes it works against you. Think about how long that can, about 26 can last. It gets you through. There was a time a couple of weeks ago I realized I hadn't had it in such a long time. And I don't know, you get the urge to do that. Sometimes it's right. I mixed a pitcher of the stuff. I made the chilled water in the refrigerator, but I poured I didn't even use a spoon. I just tipped the can in till it was very yellow. Stirred it up, put it in the freezer, chilled it nice, which is about the only way. It really needs some time to dissolve in the water, or it just sits there on top and floats. And then by the time I got it out, maybe stirred up a little more, it was awesome. I felt so good drinking it. I chugged the whole thing in. One thing it can do, so like I said, these cigarettes creating things, it's like they're attacking good flesh, and I don't know why, but the I-26 will pick up your immune system health so fast that you become a target for this, like piranha hair. Okay? They seek you out. You're sweet. My mom will go out. It's like my mom going outside. Whenever on a muggy night, she'd come in with sores all over, because the mosquitoes bit her. She had the sweet blood. They never touched me, particularly once I started taking lithium. And my first wife would say, they don't want you. We'd laugh about it. Your blood's poison. They wouldn't touch it. That's a fringe benefit of lithium, but that doesn't mean it's good for you, right? You'd be happier. You'd be my mom. The mosquitoes attack you. At least you know. Just maybe you're healthy. Because something else thinks you are too. So that's the thing. You end up having to pluck a lot of hair for a couple of days. Because that stuff gets all over you. You become a werewolf. This weird cell and syndrome, whatever I call it, syndrome. That's what starts to happen. But it's one way or another. You gotta find a happy medium, because you gotta live. I-26 gonna help you, and a lot of other things too. It happens with it. It's not about hormones or nothing. I've been drinking milk and that crap I storm from it. But I'm not stupid. I'm not going to stop drinking milk. Because I know I have a craving for milk. I'm going to suppress my craving for milk. And that it's harmful that I'm going to the bathroom a lot. Someone tell you. Why do you think they were able to sell, dire pills to stop diarrhea. Don't sell anything to you. The problem with our scheme of what capitalism it is obvious if you think about it. If everybody, it really works to a benefit if everybody is educated and has senses that function properly, calibrated properly, whatever you want to call it, but right now it's falling apart. We are catering our devices to senseless, numb idiots, who we all are now. And that is ruining everything. My piano teacher's husband was my best friend's father. I'll say it again, who was the inventor of the laser printer technology. He couldn't have been more right. He says there's going to be a time that everybody's going to be an idiot using technology created by geniuses, of which there are only a few left at the top. And he said for that, it's gonna be hell. It's gonna be runaway idiocy. So you got runaway electricity, runaway potential energy, and runaway idiots. Do you think with that condition any president's going to be able to help us? When he's probably one of them? Oh, that was another thing I'm thinking to myself, when you're seeing a sign that says Hillary for hospice, and it reminds me, and even though I've come to support Republicans for whatever reason, it's usually been the Republicans on TV over the years, at least a long time ago, be the ones that have to slander and cut down the Democrats to get an edge. Because they can't attack them any other way. Does that necessarily mean the Democratic president is better? Well, that was a theory at the time. I mean, you're a Democrat because it seems like, you're the one playing fair and you're the one out for the guy who needs help. And it's got to be all stupid. I finally came to the conclusion, even after considering the fact that, well, maybe Hillary should have been the right president. Now we're going to go to hell because it's Trump. When I relaxed, settled down, thought about it, as I had already known that the best thing you can do to defend our country, which includes defending your home and your family, is not give any power, time, money, attention to any of this political, or a lot of other things too. You need to tighten your belt in every which way, and probably including getting in shape, because as we originally made this country independent, we gotta do it again, because we fell asleep. This country was originally defended starting by defending our own homes. And here we are again, because we didn't learn a lesson. Something's wrong when you consider that anybody who's running for president, and you just start feeling apathetic and helpless, that it just ain't gonna make a difference. You got one candidate babbling on, needing attention, much like any pastor even, and the other candidate doing the same thing. You got one candidate that represents your warped beliefs better than the other. Both beliefs are warped. And then why is one candidate finally taking on the warped beliefs of the other candidate? And pretty soon, they both look exactly the same by the time of the election. And you ever want to start wondering, say, why that person can sit there and talk like I can now. Talk on and on. For 3 hours campaigning and go. And you are so friggin' weak. Not only can you barely get out of the house for any reason, headache or whatever, or whatever illness, that you go to the refrigerator and try and open up a soda, and you can't turn the cap. And the first thought of your mind, which should also indicate you got a problem. It's not you got a problem, no, it's not insulting you. This is to indicate there is a problem. A problem, general problem. The first thought is, honey, why did you put the cap on so tight? You spend the time to open your mouth, energy to tell someone else about a problem. And do you even get the other person to open it for you? No. And is that the solution? And what if that was as tight as it was when it was sealed, but you opened it then? But now, because it was already open and somebody else tightened it, it's too tight. And then, why am I allowed to tighten it so tight? And then they redesigned the fucking cap. And this is bullshit. You're clouded, you don't even see the real problem. And this is a general statement. The problem is, aren't you waiting? Isn't this exciting? You're weak. You let yourself get weak. You're so weak that you don't even suck it up. Go find anything to make it easier to turn that cap. I got Crescent Wrench. Why do you, and I need a special tool. I gotta go out and buy a special tool to help me unturn jars and things and whatnot. I was using them at home. I had a girlfriend, and then she says, look, this is all you need to do. She takes the can of taco salsa. She taps the jar on the counter, not to break a glass or anything. Of course, you have to have some, talent here. Where'd our talent go? We don't have it. We've let everybody else work around our talent, and they put all that stuff together, charged us for it, so that we can become helpless. Not only helpless, but sick, and then fund other people to other wolves. And that's the prime example right there. And we opened it up, and I would do that. Never need a tool ever again to open any jar. You buy this special rubberized stuff you're going to put around to help you open it, and that rubber is deadly. The only reason you don't throw it in the garbage is because it doesn't look like the piece of shit that went down your toilet bowl, which shouldn't even go there either. That's the reason you don't, because it looks like something man-made with purpose, design, everything. It's probably made from recycled bullshit that they didn't want to put in a landfill because they wanted to make money. And that's in your head. You've got recycled shit in your pillows, and you're sleeping on it. Carpet remnants, God knows. And this white Santa Claus stuff is just like R19 insulation. Might as well be optical crap. I don't know, whatever it is. This is another thing I want to talk about. I just ripped off my sleep. Can't say. Fine. But say I'm here. This is my head. Okay. So I'm only interested in the audio here. Problem is it generates too big a file still. I did set it to WMV, I think. If it stayed there, this should be small enough to, but somehow flip to AVI, which is the larger file. So why is the default AVI at all? Okay, getting off on a tangent, but you gotta get this stuff sinking into you. We've got problems. So, I mean, this shirt here was lined completely with this stuff. And you say, what's to keep you warm because it's cold out? Did anyone stop to think how much time you're supposed to be spending outside in the cold on a cold day? If you're like have a brain. I think even a bear in the woods, and how many want to live in your camping tent? You know, right? They come into your house to live because they don't want to be outside. And you think you're gotta be prepared for the worst. You're supposed to have a heater in your car, and everywhere you go is supposed to be, and generally businesses have to be heated, and they are. We should have had a heated swimming pool in my grade school. We didn't have that till later. They threw us in the pool in first grade, and we nearly froze to death. But what's funny is the water actually felt warm after a while being. But that's not the point here. The point is, and then that should show you that eventually you can adjust to anything. But you're spending your time, you're wearing this stuff, you're going to go in this, and you're suffocating with not only heat, because now it's too hot most of the time. You get preoccupied with that. How can you think straight? Like the car sitting there on drive all the time. Okay, now imagine it's heavier, wearing a heavier shirt. Your arms have to use more energy just to raise them. If somebody came to you and was a bully, you couldn't raise your arms to hit them because you're so tired. And then now doesn't it make sense why you're so weak? You can't turn the cap on that soda bottle. Oh, and then I wanted to get to this too. Don't you ever wonder? You ever tried? I find a lot of this plastic stuff when I'm going to throw it away. It's so annoying I want to cut it in half. Of course, that has a lot to do with wavelengths I discussed. When you cut in something in half, for some reason there's a relief because the augmenting of the vibrations is cut in half. Usually it's about half the amplitude because, in fact, you're twice as far away from the resonant center frequency. That's kind of in the air that's messing with that piece of plastic. Why you crinkle plastic, and that's so annoying these days, including plastic bags. So you take it and you say, well, I just want to rip it in half. You don't even take a scissor, and you can't. That piece of plastic, say from a bag of grapes, you can't fucking do it. You say, why is this so strong? And then you think of wartime. Think about it. You can take that plastic. You could tie someone's hands with it. They couldn't get it. You could put it around their neck and strangle them, and it wouldn't break. on your sleeves of your arm. It's like, this material is so strong. I can't cut it with scissors. Yeah, it's G material, but it's like, what's going on here? Same kind of principle. You say this is preposterous coincidence. Let me go on. Okay. I got these kind of also pockets on this shirt. Okay? With all the insulation and stuff. Well, I finally got one of them off because I don't use pockets on my shirts. All these pockets. I still got a pocket where my heart is. And what is that, protecting a bullet from me? No. But I don't need that there over my heart. I don't need anything weighty here. And the hope is you'll put something in your pocket. It's a pen or pencil, 4 inches long, resonating at the frequency of a microwave. And yeah, you're going to wonder why you need a pacemaker. And that's stupid too. Oh, and I know someone that they said she had a heart murmur, what all this crap, hole in her heart and stuff, and x-rays. What's funny is the woman never even worried about that. We were more concerned she'd die than she was. Finally had the surgery anyway. No doubt from the surgery she had more chance of having a hole in her heart than she ever had in the first place. I hate to say that's what I really do believe. So back to what I'm saying, where was I? Yeah, pockets and shit. So there's one pocket somewhere on this. I don't know where it is. It didn't even. And it's lined and it's like, I will cut it off. And then I split it, the pocket, and it stayed together 2 halves. And I said, this looks like those things you put over people's eyes because they can't sleep, those little blinding things. I said, but what else could you use it for? Yeah, what about you're blinding and gagging someone, right? It was so, and it's completely opaque with the fur and stuff. You put that right, fit right over here. Didn't even have to test, I could see it. Put it right over someone's eyes. Tie it with something, and you blindfold someone. You got them hand tied with the plastics. Or say even any wire you've got in the house, a cord, whatever. And any electrical cord. They had a movie where they were shocking somebody. Just, with that stuff. And this is in your home. And, talk about people being a walking bomb that are Muslim. It ain't them, it's you, bub. Somebody get in a corner. They didn't even have to transport the blindfold or anything. They don't need to spend the gas on it. You're walking with it. You got the extra weight on you, and you're weighted down. You're hot, bothered, in every place you go, because you worry about that 2 minutes you're out in the cold, for which enough jackets would have done enough. And you're walking bomb against your own self. And you couldn't raise your arms to defend yourself. Am I the last one that noticed this? And didn't we have a time when everything had to be childproof, What if it was your own adolescent child? He could blindfold and strangle you, the father, in the middle of the night. Probably even then, and call the police and say, you started it. You go to jail, right? Anyone, your wife has a disgruntled wife, domestic violence. And did you know in your home? We knew all along, right? Knives and this. In fact, what's funny is, we have tons of what look like sharp knives now. And I can't even cut the plastic in half with them without a lot of trouble. I find I take a serrated butter knife and I can do better on just about anything I'm trying to cut. It's sad. So, someone pick up the butter knife, you pick up the big knife, and you couldn't even hurt them. If it was an emergency. You go to sleep, someone come in your house who's already seen everything as in your house, right? Or your TV set. Am I paranoid? They don't have to bring nothing. They can save the weight of shipping and gas. They could walk in off the street. They need a home to stay. You've got enough things. You don't need to have a gun in your house that they can turn against you. Fucking saran wrap, you name it. Just the wrapper from any food you took at home. Tie your hands. If not, the rip off the collar on your sleeve, and it'd be good enough to gag you. Take a pocket off your shirt and they can blindfold you. And God knows, of course, how many otherwise. But, you know, they want convenience. And you're screaming, where's your convenience? Haven't you noticed you ain't got it? And what convenience did you need? If you're as healthy as you're supposed to be, not only you're going to get that top of that soda cap off, but you'd have the brains to find any fucking tool that you should have in your home and open it. And the patience, I don't care male or female, come on. Females they talk about, I want equal rights, equal partnership, and then you're the one sick, going to see a doctor for cancer, believing in the doctor, getting weaker, and then you finally want the man to help you do the shopping, everything that you even should be doing, clean the floor, because now you can't function in your own home. And did you ever think, as always, of any two creatures on this planet that get together, your function was to keep a nest, a clean nest, forage for food, shelter, and have a child you can look at for the rest of your life and say, I made that. That was me, I did that. And you can't do it anymore. No, you don't even care. You've been brainwashed. There's too many people in the world. I still don't think. I have arguments with my gal. Are there really 6 billion people on this planet? Should we do the math? Oh yeah, but in Japan, they stack them up like sardines. Do they really? Have you been to Japan? Am I wrong? I don't know. It seems to me there's more cars on the road when I'm on the road than is even probable. And then I finally realized it's because it's like German guards. You've got to have a car on every street every 30 seconds or a minute to know what's going on. don't have to be police. And I haven't done this calculation, but I should someday. If the average person taking up so many square feet on a property, average size of a property, average size of a unit, if it's 2 people, size of a unit, X this, whatever, get an average. Well, I have census takers. Maybe if you're a census taker, you finally get the idea as to how many people are really in this world, which I never was. But if you took all that together, and then you go to figure, you drive down the road. It's, particularly going up northern Florida, when you're heading toward Orlando. And you know how dense it is in your city, right? Not just the brain sense. It's a joke. And you take, if you keep an average that out, how many people are really in your city? And then how much open space? What about over in the Great Plains and stuff? And you're driving down the desert. There ain't nobody through all that area, surface area of our planet. And what if you even included an average where you are as the average everywhere on all the surface area of this planet, for which we know there aren't people in North Pole, South Pole, all places where it's uninhabited, okay? Would you come up with a number anywhere close to 6 billion? 6 billion is a large fucking number. Even on a computer, it's what, 6 gig? Is that what it is? Or is that 6 trillion? There's 6 trillion people. What is it these days? I'll have to look on Google. If it's 6 billion, well, McDonald's says it's over 6 billion served. So, okay, so 6 billion, right? What is it? A million is a meg, right? So yeah, 6 gig. See, I'm gonna find out from right or wrong, right? Makes sense to you. Doesn't even matter. What's my point here? Maybe it's time I stopped recording. I could be off on the wrong tangent. Maybe my point is, don't accept anything you haven't taken the time, fully at least, that you haven't taken the time to do the math. You can get an idea if it's real. People say, my mom says black is hotter than white. Don't wear black. Don't get a black car. Okay. Then why is it people practically get burned or sunburned walking in the snow? So that's what I'm saying here. It don't make sense here. So black absorbs. I know. Was it permissivity or something like that? See, I'm not stupid. Okay. Light. Think about it. All right, light's coming, right? it's not, light hits black, right? Why is it still black? Is it because it's absorbing light? What's happening is light doesn't reflect off of dark surfaces, right? The whole thing why they sold a microwave oven, well, part of all its operation is that this stuff's bouncing around inside the microwave oven. I don't support microwave ovens. Why I'm talking about it DelNeu, so you can forget them all, please me. It's bouncing around with that. I think it's whatever it's reflecting light more is augmenting what light does, and the light partly is responsible for our heat. So, and then I think God right now, and I'll say, we use white paint to paint every friggin' home just about. We even sometimes we put in white concrete driveways. But yet, there are people who make an effort to blacktop their asphalt driveways. And yeah, I step on it. Driveway is very hot, yeah. It may not have anything to do with the blackness. It may just have to do with the fact you got, rocks under there. Rocks heat up. I don't think it would matter if it was white asphalt. It wouldn't matter. Okay? And regardless, doesn't anybody see there's more danger in glare and bright and over brightness, okay, which is caused by light colors in light, than if things were darker? Doesn't a nicely black topped road look easier on the eyes? And if it does, doesn't that make it more inviting? Doesn't that also mean, if you're using your senses properly, it's healthier for you? That you should stay on the sidewalk and listen to. Did you ever think the advice you're getting, as usual, from people who say they're out to help your health, is really just helping themselves for certain business, so they don't have to work hard? I think if you're driving a bicycle, we took the sidewalk only because we don't get run over. One of my best friends, Ross Dobkin, died riding his bicycle. Someone ran him over at the college, probably because he's riding in the street. Why? Because of some law, the bicycles can't share the sidewalk or might run over a pedestrian. Yeah, if a bicycle ran over a pedestrian, it doesn't be alive. But if a car runs over a bicyclist, the bicyclist is dead. So where was the fucking logic here? And like I said at the beginning, we're all prepared with fire trucks and police for any problem that could have been solved. Maybe if your cell phone was always working and your car door would open when you needed it to, and your seatbelt would unlock if you could get it off, and your airbag hadn't gone off and busted your gut, and your steering wheel had been low enough on the dash that you didn't bite it. or loose. Here's a tip for you. You've got an adjustable thing on your steering wheel that you can set it at whatever angle. Get used to driving it with it disabled and loose. Not only will it feel like you're playing Star Wars, the old game we used to have, video game, which is fun, but chances are that steering wheel would never hurt you as bad because it's not locked in position. That's how I drive. I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't drive that way. Now I could keep track in my head, you've got your car doors have two latches, and one of them I'm sure is the death latch that you'd never open the car door. And the best ventilation I found is not necessarily roll down your windows, but when I had a rental car, I simply took the front doors and set them with the first latch on. It's been said I never had it open on me, but it ventilates the car fully because you got air flowing all around the doors. In fact, it's almost like riding a convertible, which could be, dangerous because, it doesn't have a hood, and it does rain, the fools. And then we'd have problems where the convertible window could never see out of it again. But in any case, convertibles are nice cars. But regardless of that, you want to feel more free and less stress on the road. That's something you might try. Like I said, nothing I say goes without the caveat that my gal came up with, the Darwin Award. You don't want to win the Darwin Award by taking any suggestion to the point of stupidity that you couldn't handle it and you die from it. Okay? Even good advice, you gotta be with it to use it. You have to know you're with it too. You can't start using neutral, to coast and do other things, which is fun, unless you're not stupid enough to run it into reverse by accident. And I've done that too. And then I finally got smart to realize the button, if it's built right on your automatic car, doesn't need to be pressed and will slide from neutral to drive and drive to neutral, and not to second or reverse at all, ever. It has a lock on it. So stupid me, I would have never, ever, accidentally crunched in reverse if I'd have just knew that. So surprise, surprise. And then you realize somebody's been thinking about these things and does them. And they ain't telling you easily, right? I have this stupid wire coming down. See, again, I don't know all the camera, you can't hear me. Coming down where my rearview mirror is, that I don't really use anymore anyway. Maybe I could use it. It's sending current into your mirror right over the top of where your head is. That's another thing, your visors and stuff for sun, they got the stupid airbag messages you'll never read. And that stuff, I think, is hurting you too. If I ripped it off and I'm still messing with it, I'm not sure how far I gotta go. And then why are you worried about the sun? The sun shouldn't be bothering you, actually. The reason I'm sure it bothers a lot of people is too much artificial light mixed with it everywhere. And that's what's really bothering us. The sun, light shouldn't bother us. I don't care how much of a vampire you are. And going back to what I was saying, so I finally got to... Oh, and then those little lights I got there that, they started putting in for your map lights. And the lenses, warp light, hurt eyes. I'm talking eyeglass lenses, you name it. And they put these plastic lenses. You can't run the headlights without lenses, I guess, because I guess the water would damage the bulb. It probably wouldn't, actually. There's less things that electronics are affected by water than you imagine, the way they're made these days, except to rust them. And a lot of times, one guy had gotten his TV wet because my wife had cleaned the upstairs bathroom so much he flooded it to about an inch or two of water, leaked downstairs, got his TV wet. But talk about brains. First thing he did, worried about his TV, like you try to resuscitate a real person, he turned it on to see if it worked. And I was talking to him, I said, before he told me that, I said, so it got wet. I said, well, I'll tell you what, maybe if you just let it dry out, it'd work, maybe by tomorrow or next day, whatever. He said, no, I already turned on to see what. Well, by now you probably shorted the shit out of it. So, so whatever it is. I mean, I'm getting off a tangent. I'll stop talking here. But I unplugged it finally too. I'd taken the shield. When I took the shield of the bulb off and I ran the bulb, it was nicer. It was. And see, I even took a test too. That bulb can run 24/7, and you can start your car. I think maybe eventually it'll run it down. But if you want to test to know if your battery's going to work for the summer, for the winter, whatever, put a light on your car overnight and see if your car starts the next day. Your battery should support it. At least one day, 24-hour period. But another problem with those lights, these little helpful lights in the car, you'd be better off, in fact, thinking about it, just putting a flashlight right by your emergency brake. Screw having your car do anything. Why are you risking the fact that your door is open, that whatever, you got that stupid light set wrong when you got out of the car, and then you come back and your battery's dead? Why? Because the damn thing is designed to drain more power from your fucking battery than it should ever do. You'd think, how many years we've had cars and lamps and stuff, and even with LED technology, which sucks too. I'm sorry, it doesn't replace incandescent in my opinion. And all this shit, and of course, maybe new cars, whatever, it doesn't. Why the hell you shouldn't have one single light on your car that you could always have on? It would never drain a battery that powerful that can start a friggin' motor on a cold day, and yet you can leave a friggin' tiny lamp on, not even a watt. It should be not even a watt. And next day it's gone. Time to buy a new battery or something. Unbelievable, isn't it? Some moments. So anyway, this wire goes up, and then it's got a plastic thing that, to make it look nice. Somehow, in this day and age, that shit is overhead running a business. It's overhead, whatever it is. So, I took it off, disconnected it, hid the wire. I didn't make it impossible to connect it. I might need that light in emergency right now. Hid it up, and it fits nicely too, underneath that caravan stuff, that tent thing that's on the top car, and that's made out of weird material too, styrofoam crap, whatever, but it makes the car look nice, right? They don't worry about it as much right now. I took care of the more important things. So I took it up there, and it's I feel better. But then finally I realized again, because one thing distracts you from not noticing another thing, and then you've got, I guess it's for the radio, these little dots up there, or it's to keep the sun off too, I don't know, it's partly an antenna, partly something polarized, I don't know. And that sucker's, I think, built into the windshield. I don't know. I have to get a razor. I don't know if it'll come off. But no doubt that's another thing that's sitting there, tracking you, draining you, God knows what. Never used to be on a car. The technology, for the longest time, went way beyond what it needed to, and under the guise of some kind of false convenience, or a kind of technology goes, wow, we can do that. So what, we can do it. It's not making it any better. And so there it is, and then you realize it's only there for somebody else's purpose. That's greater purpose than yours, so to speak. So I continue to do changes to my car, and I added that in today. That's what I've done. And stickers. Perhaps my wife was right. I got better because there was an inspection sticker that says from Toyota, oh, inspected by, and I have one on my Ford too. And you're proud to leave it there. Probably should take that off. You were probably right about taking that off. I thought it was bad luck. Stickers in general. Sticker price for everything. Speaking of sticker prices, there's one other thing I want to talk about that. But it's like a sticker price. You've got a sticker price in your home, and it's anything that's unnecessary that is taking away the peace of your home because it's there. UPC symbols, things. The food, plastic food container that your frozen food came in, you didn't throw it away right away, whatever it is. It's designed, you forget about it. It's constantly laying around. The label of the Lipton tea bag that you ripped off, you made the tea, and now it's all over the house. They're hoping you would litter your house with this stuff, and it would fall behind anything and be there forever. Say, out of sight, out of mind. It can't hurt me if I don't say it, but I don't. No, come on. Of course it can. If a cat shit behind the couch and you don't know it, say, well, I smell that, I know. Then I know it's harming me. What if you took a pill instead, and now you wouldn't smell anything except what you wanted to smell, like rose-covered glasses, whatever, rose-covered nostrils, okay? So, aren't there other products of having cat shit behind your couch, and you wonder why you're at the creeps and and if it's not the cat shit, it's the smoking or whatever, something, you wonder why I'm ill, or my skin creeps. And that's an example of anything you have in house, headaches, you name it. You're wondering why. Is your room in order? Do you really like your lampshade? No, I put up with it because I don't want to buy another lampshade. I like the light bulb. What can I have to do with it? And maybe that doesn't have much to do with it. Did you ever think you got a stack of bills? You've got envelopes that have the same kind of wrapper that goes on your frozen food, and you crinkle it up in your hands. And doesn't it feel wonderful? Would you rather be holding the hand of that crinkly piece of plastic? It feels so human. That time you could spend it holding your wife's hand or husband's hand, nice warm hand you always loved. But no, you ought to spend your time doing this. And then that stuff, because you didn't throw it away, is sitting on your top of your dresser where the lamp is and diffracting light. And then you claim you're an artist and have all sorts of talents about aesthetics. I don't care, musician, whatever. And yeah, I know some, and then you don't notice. There's noise in your home. Oh no, that's okay. It's not. I'm putting up with this heater. I don't want to be cold. Does this heater sound great now? In fact, it's really annoying after a while. I turn it off. It's an old heater. Probably still better than one I could get today though. But it's not my heater. I can't touch it. But how do you know why it doesn't sound good? Because the person who made it wasn't a musician. Maybe that's not the problem. Maybe the problem is the fans running at a speed determined by the cycles of the AC current, which I believe now in the United States is still at 60 hertz. Hertz, I wonder why they don't call it cycles. They changed it from cycles to calling it hertz. Hertz, it hurts, yeah. Why it hurts is 6 is not a number that jives with natural creatures like humans particularly. How many things on your body come in 6? Or 3? Well, 3 maybe. No. 2 eyes, 5 fingers, 1 nose, etc., etc. So, yeah, that's why clocks are dangerous. Yeah. If anything would make time a little easier on all of us, well, first of all, the power, if it's got to be anywhere near 60 hertz, should be back at 50 hertz, which is a multiple of 5, 2, and 1. And the other thing is, I was thinking about it. I take time to think about this shit. Clocks. So we'd all stop having headaches about clocks. What the fuck, man? You cannot tell me we can't divide an hour into a multiple of 5 or 52? Why can't we have 50 minutes in a fucking hour? I mean, not only do we have an impossible task to get rid of daylight savings time, but why would it be such an impossible task? Everybody has that excuse, it's been this way forever. So what? Does a lion got a thorn in its paw? Goes gets help from some mouse. I want to pull this thorn out. Would it be the mouse telling the lion, oh no, oh yeah, the mouse says, diagnosed problem. How long has that thorn been there? I don't know, it's been here as long as I can remember. Maybe we better leave it in. See how stupid it sounds? But that's what we're doing every day. Reverse it, doesn't matter, it's still stupid. The mouse comes along and says, I can pull that thorn out. It doesn't look like it belongs. The client says, I don't know. It's been there for a long time. Doesn't it hurt? I don't know. I'm afraid to pull it out. I'm afraid I might bleed to death from the open wound. Stupidity. Why we need clocks in the first place is another thing, but still, if we're gonna have a crutch, I mean, it should work. I mean, if you're 6 foot tall and you can't walk, somebody hands you a 2 foot crutch, it ain't gonna friggin' do you a whole lot of good. No, I mean, if I had to vote, and we need time to be in a minute type of condition, I would say 50 seconds to the minute, 50 minutes to the hour. And then why is it 12 hours and 24? Well, that probably came about, I don't know, apostles, 12 apostles, 12, sounds like hell, 12, or elves or something, I don't know. 12 is 6 times 2. 6 is the fucked up number when you think about it. Okay, well, this would solve it. I wonder if it was. Why isn't it 25 hours in the day? Hey, we solved it. You had an extra hour in, right? Doesn't that also, like, probably come out to be the same number of minutes in a day? I don't know, like, to calculate it out, wouldn't you? I don't know. Well, you have to, if it even, let's see, I don't know. What do you got now? 24 hours, which is 60 minutes per hour, right? So 24 times 60. Is that the same as 25 times 50? Whatever it is, we can work it out. So 24, what times 6? It's 24 times 6. Does that equal 25 times 5? What would it be? Well, let's just figure out. Apparently a day, we know how many minutes it is. Because that's not going to change. What we're changing is how many hours are in a day. Right? So, let's say 6 times 24. Well, 6 times 24 is 24 times 3 times 2. See how days factor. So 24 times 3 is 24, 48. 48 and 24, 8, and 21, it's 72, right? Okay. 72 times 2, 144. You should be able to do this in your head. So you got 144, what? 44, what, add a 0. What is it? 144 times 10 minutes in a day. 144. But now we're going to take the minutes, say, and that was when you had 60 minutes to the hour. We want 50 minutes to the hour now. Right? So you still have the same 24 hours. Say it was that way. So you got 24 now times 50. Now what do you got? 24 times 5 is 60. I don't know. No. Well, 24 times 5. What's that? That was 144, right? So 24 times 6. So take away 124. 144 minus 24. 120. Right? So 1200. Now you have 1200 minutes. 1200 minutes to the day. Right? 100 minutes to the day. But so you're running the clock, you only have to make the clock go the speed of whatever it is. And 20, what is that now? 1200 minutes to the day, right? That's running it 24 of the current hour time. Right? It's a little tricky, but... And I guess it's a ratio thing to figure things out, because if you had 25 hours of the day, and that would mean the minute 25 hours. If you had 25 hours at 60 minutes of the day still, don't change the 60 minutes, then let's see, what percentage of increase or decrease of a minute would that affect to still have the same amount of elapsed time? That's a long problem, isn't it? Well, but see, I think the thing is, well, this will make it easier, because if you're supposed to be at 50 hertz power from 60, that's 90% of what the current cycle is. 90%. Of course, 50 hertz cycle, then you're going to have 50 cycles to the second. Is that it? If you left the clocks the way they're made, I don't know if you do that, and you just went to 50 hertz, okay? Well, a second would become 11.111 elapsed time longer. Okay? 11% longer. Alright, so your seconds now 11% longer, whatever. But now you got 50 seconds to the minute, right? 50 seconds to the minute. Would compensate for it instantly. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you got 50. It'd be the same amount of time per minute that you had when you had 60 minutes to the hour, but the difference is only 50 minutes is going by. Okay, we're getting somewhere now. So you've only got 50 minutes that have gone by per hour. But in a day, we already know of these minutes, how many you have in a day. It's the same amount of time per minute. So either way, the answer is the same for the minutes a day. So we need to go back original assessment, how many minutes within a day. So that would be 60 times 24. Which was what? 1440, right? So you got 1440 minutes. How many hours are you going to need now? That's not even, is it? This part that sucks, I guess. About this, okay? Was it 144? And then you start to see why they did this with the clocks, I guess. So maybe I'm wrong. I got 1440 minutes in a day, right? 24 times 60. But now you've only got 50 minutes to fill that same hour. I don't know if it meters them all. So 15 minutes, and you change the clock speed to 50 hertz, which is 50 cycles. 50 cycles go by. For a second, but what is a second? And we're changing what seconds represent, aren't we? Or are we? Who determined how long a second is? Interesting. Well, obviously, if you change 60 hertz to 50 hertz, this is crazy. Think about this. Well, it seems to me we can do whatever we want. Basically. The point is the frequency that's coming into your hand for power, is it safe? Is it a frequency that is healthy? A multiple of 5, 2, and 1. And then you're basing 5, 2, and 1 still upon a unit of time. So maybe why any of this should relate to a human body, I don't know. Think about it. Why would even 5, 2, and 1 have any sense? We're talking about a time interval. I don't know. That's interesting. And then you see clocks where a cat wagging its tail. And maybe that's the time. There it is. You wonder how long a second is? It's the time a cat wags its tail and does that. Well, I think the assumption we have to make given would be, I guess, that, and I don't know if it's given. So which do we change? Because okay, now we gotta get into music thing called tempo, I guess. What is a peaceful tempo? And not based on numbers. And what actually signifies the feeling of a tempo? Okay, the tempo you make love it. Or the tempo, say, of a common rock and roll beat. That steady beat. You could do a consensus on rock songs as to what tempo is the tempo we expect, for which it was all screwed up because it was sped up quite a bit, 11% from what it should be. And so what tempo was that? How many beats per minute, you would say, right? Okay, now we're getting somewhere. How many beats per minute? Alright. Well, somewhere there is a problem that needs to be solved. But, and that would determine which is the proper value for the length of a second. and whether it's even right. Because the fact is, you're changing a property called 50 cycles per second, 6 cycles per second, but in fact, the key is how long the second is. Because now you're using that information to determine what your clock's doing. And your clock's determining, or whatever the electricity is determining how fast your fan speed is. And your fan speed, what is, if it's not in that sweet spot of rhythm, that's going to bug the shit out of you. I don't make this or not. Getting that speed right, and that goes for what's bothering me about the refrigerator, which maybe I wouldn't even notice if it was running or not, is most likely what the fan speed is, because that's what's kicking on and off, right? And I suppose, this is a theory because this heater was made a long time ago. And for all I knew, it was made at a time when the power in this country was 50 hertz. Right? So, how do you fix that fan speed? Set the power back to 50 hertz. And then, will that affect how clocks run? Okay. A clock that will calculate a second every 60 cycles, but now is given 50 cycles. It will that will speed up the second, because that second will occur after 50 cycles, not 60. And we're talking not seconds, we're talking about how the hand moves on the clock. And you're talking about where the hand moves and where you mark it off, right? So in actuality, 50 seconds goes by. 50 cycles go by. It's really confusing. Problem, and you think, why is this guy? Will you ever figure this out? Okay, lengths have nothing to do with time. There we go. And the fact is, the wavelength of a 50 cycle wave is that it's relative to the 60 hertz, isn't it? Like Einstein relativity. So it is going to be 11% longer wavelength. Well, shorter frequency, right? Smaller number frequency means larger number wavelength, right? Okay, so the wavelength is 11% longer, which lowers the pitch. That's what we want. We want to lower the pitch of the fan vibration. Got it. Suppose there's a recording. Okay, we're going to solve this live here. Who's already jumped in and they're genius, so I don't care. I'm doing this for myself. So that's ultimately when we lower the pitch to 90% of whatever the pitch is now. Okay, that's going to lower the velocity by 90% of the current velocity. So a hand on a clock is going to take 11% longer with the current clock to go around, and that's fine. So I want to slow that down. And when it takes 11% longer to go around, if we want the same time marked off on that hour, we would need more than 60 ticks. How many more? %, more ticks. 0.11. Is that, I mean, we got 66 ticks? Oh my god, that's a 66 number. Like 66 books of the Bible. Does it come out of 66? Well, 66. What is 66 minus 10%? 10% of 66. Actually, it would take 66.66, which I can't have, wouldn't it? And that would mark off the current second value. The current, second value. And remember, that hand's going around for an hour is giving you the current hour's time plus 11%, 0.11%. Okay, let's start there. And no matter what, you've got 24 hours of the current time. Okay, this is where we need to start. So, this determines how many hours we're really going to have to make it in a day at 11% more time within each hour. Alright? If you have 11% more time in each hour, what does that mean? That means when 24 hours passes on this clock, how many hours have we really passed? Or how much of a day has really passed? And it would be a day and 11.1% of a day. Okay. So 24 times 10% is 2.4. What are we doing? Okay. We're trying to find out how many extra hours of this 24-hour period are added. 11% of a day has been added. It's a hazard a guess. Well, 24. What's 90% of 24? 10% of 24. 90% of 24 hours. Does it even work out evenly? 90% of 10 is 1. 90% of 20 is 2. 90% of 4 is what? Okay, 25% of 4 is 1. 10% of 4 is 0.4. Well, I gotta subtract 2.4 from 24, and you get 20 under 22. 21.6. Alright. 21.6 plus 2.4 is 24. Okay, I think we got something. 21.6 is 90%. Why is that significant? So if you got 21.6, so if we had 21.6 hours at the slower rate, we'd have a full day. Okay, that's what it means. So if we go to 50 hertz, we don't change the way the clocks function. When the hand of the hour went by 21 6/10, it'd be a day. And we can't do that. We gotta have an even number of hours, right? Mm-hmm. 21 6/10. Probably what I'm trying to figure out is how many hours in a day we really should do. And I was heading up to 25 hours, but in fact there will be less hours. Wait, what if we extrapolate those? Say we want 20 hours in a day. And now, how does that differ from 21.6? Or is there a better number that, like, calculates better? Say, I mean, either we do 25 hours a day, 20 hours a day, 15 hours a day. We can't do 25 hours. Okay, so let it all down. The hour hand goes around currently 21 times. 6/10 leaves you at, remember the ticks are 52 an hour. That's why we're adding too much into the equation. I mean, you can do both. It doesn't matter right now. Well, if it was 50 going around the thing, or maybe it should be, why can't it be 100 minutes to the hour? If it was, where would you find 6/10? It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would put that be about where the 7 o'clock mark is for the minute hand, wouldn't it? About. You remember there's 12 now. There'd only be 10. Yeah, that's the big thing. You would not have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 11 o'clock. You should only have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Decimal, right? They call this the metric clock, or whatever, I don't care. Okay? I don't know if anybody uses this yet. I should look it up on Google. Okay, so we have to start right there. You've got 10 going around. If you got 10 going around. Okay, and then you're dividing that 10 into 5 slices. And that makes 50 minutes to the hour. But if the clock's not changed, it will take 11% longer for the hour hand to get around, which means after 21.6 of those hours is done, you've done a day. On a standard clock, though, it's all done by gears, right? And on the clock gear system, it would be 21.6 times around. The hour hand would go. No, that's the minute hand. I'm sorry. No, the minute hand goes around. The hour hand follows it by 1 hour, but oh god. That was when we divided the clock into 12 pieces. Pi. We slowed the clock down 11%. Alright. Well, by the time that the hand goes around once, it's been not a 24th of a day. It's been how much? It's been more than that of a day. It's been more than a 24th of a day. By how much? I bet you take 90% of 24. On the bottom, it would be 1 over that number. But that's not an even fraction. But that is the answer, in fact. And what I said, that was 21.6, right? So at 1 over 21.6 is how much of a day is passed when the minute hand is gone all the way around once. And that's not going to change if we don't change the clock. So 1 over 21.6, which is 21 plus 6 over 10. To break that down, it's not easy. And calculate the decimal real quickly or not. See, we're trying to bust this into the 24 pattern because the stupid clock minute hand is still doing what it was. That's for a mechanical clock. Now see, if it's all digital anyway, doesn't that make, like, things simple? Problem is, Earth's not going to change so fast, I think. So, what we need to find again is how many of these new minutes are in a day. Exactly. And is that an even number of minutes? How do we calculate it right? And these new minutes or 11.1% longer than the old minutes. So you need 90% of the minutes you had before would equal the number of minutes you now have. So how many minutes were there? 24 times 60. 24 times 60 was 1440 minutes. 1440 divided by 90% equals the number of minutes you now have. Okay. What is... Oh, it's even. Good. 10% of 1440 is 144. That was my plane ticket to come up here. So 144 minus 1440 is what? I'll take a quick break and I'll have the answer when I come back. I'm not stopping recording it. Okay. Just had some super cold Pepsi with some honey in it, and the answer is 1296. So you got 1296 minutes, new minutes in a day. 1296 new minutes. Where, when if we say it's 15 minutes the hour, we're using a scale of an hour that doesn't apply to you. So we throw that away. 1296. Do you want to try to divide that by? What does that divide by? Can't divide by 10. So you can't have 10 hours in a day. Can we quickly think of an even number that goes into? Let's start by dividing it by its factors. 1296. Can we divide it by 2? 1296 divided by 2 is 648, right? 648. Okay, so we can have 2 hours of 648 minutes each. Let's keep going. divide that by 2. We can do that. 640 divided by 2 is 324. 4 hours, we're getting close to the answer, of 324 minutes each. Going. $324, half of that is the 24 part becomes 12. 3 becomes 150. 50 plus 12 is 62. 162 minutes of 8 hours each. And we can go on more by 2. So 162 divided by 2 is 81. Which is odd. Right? But it's like having a leap minute. So it's cool. It's weird, but so you got, what does that become? So is it 16 hours of 81 minute hours of the new minutes? Well, see, a minute became 11% longer than the current minute. And the current minute was based on 60 minutes to the hour, right? For which we know of those minutes that took 24 to make a day, and we don't think that's going to change. So whatever we do, we got to come out the same amount of elapsed time. So does that mean we can adjust the length of the new minute? Now that we're on 50 hertz. I think we can, as long as we change this becomes really tricky because we've got, did we change the second at all? No, we didn't, right? Because our current set, we have a second. And that represented, we got 60 cycles on a wave happen at the time of current thing we call the second. See, we're messing with the units that we're trying to measure things with. This is what becomes difficult, and you really want to do other things to keep tabs on what you're doing than the units themselves. So that was just tough. I think Einstein could have figured it out. So alright, let's keep what order we know. Okay. I remember right now I'm trying to do this with the standard clock we have. Well, see, if if you divide it, then you'd be dividing into 8, not 16, right? Yeah. That's if we still want AM and PM, right? Because the day is 12 hours. Night is 12 hours. The way it was. Which was 1296 divided by 2, 648 minutes per 12 hours. The old way. Right? Alright, 8 times 81 is what? 8 times 81 is 640 plus 1 times 8. 648. Okay. Is 8 what I call biological number? 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. 2 is a good number. And that's all it is. So that's cool. That's the solution. So you have the same clock, right? And it's divided with 8 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 going around. 8 at the top. Right? That's cool. And 8's infinity. That's cool. Okay. Okay, if you do that, yeah. See, that changes everything. Okay. Now before, let's see, what was that? Okay, so you got, right. Now the minute hand currently is going to go around that clock 21.6 times, and we want it to be even. How do we fix that? Gears. If we do it digitally, do it anything. No, in fact, this is home to digital, isn't it? Or is it, well, now it'd be a little weird. I don't know if people like this because, well, you'd have the 16 hours a day. So at, was 81 minutes. But on the 81st minute, like 60 minutes, you never see it, it's 59. So we had a weird system there. It would go up to 59 and then turn the next hour. Here you don't get that problem. You're only going to see 80. See, this ain't so bad. So after the digital clock says 1 colon, if you want to use colon, I'd use the wavy symbol. So you have 1 wavy symbol and then 80. And then it's 2. And by the time you got to 800, day's over. 12 hours are gone by. The old system. Eight more hours later, it's, and you don't ever see 1600 either. So at 1580, right? Or do you have 16 on the clock? It's 1, and dividing it up into 16 pieces, well, you have 12. That's what's weird here. We got 12 hours, and we saw 12. That's because we didn't start with 0. So if we have 16 hours, then we start with 1, there should be a 16. 8:80, it becomes 1 o'clock. You got 1 o'clock to 1:80, 2 to 2:80, 3 to 3:80, 4 to 8 to 8:80, and then it's PM, and then do it again.